George, what do you think is the most important part of your work? Just 2 minutes for that.
The most important, there's two parts.
For humanity, all right.
Oh, for me, it's learning about the universe, and then for science, it's communicating that to other scientists and to the public so that they understand the perspective and their place in the universe.
Right. For many people today, with the kids, with the children of the school, how was for you to be with this future scientist?
It's always exciting because the young people, students, they have this sense of wonder, and they communicate it to their parents so that when they are seeing about the universe for the first time, it's really for the first time for them. But for the parents, they see it through the same eyes because they see the kids being exposed. And for them, a lot of times, it's the first time they've actually seen that.
For many of them, it was the first time to be with such a personality, a Nobel Prize. What do you think it was your impression with these kids in the sim art?
The good thing is, apparently, Nobel Prizes in Mexico are considered like celebrities. Like stars, singers and actors and so forth. And so I think that's very good that the Nobel Foundation has raised science in the eyes of the public, especially in Mexico. I always appreciated that Mexico papers would have a culture and science section, and really seem to think of science as part of the culture of the country, and it's critical to the future of the country, but it's also part of the culture and part of the understanding.
How did you become a scientist? How did you like to do this work?
I think I got encouragement from my parents and my teachers, and they inspired me to think that I could understand it and learn about the world around me and know more and see it. And I give the example that just because you know what makes a rainbow work doesn't mean it's less beautiful. Sometimes it's even more spectacular to know how complicated it is, and yet, or how simple it is, and yet how beautiful it turns out to be.
If some kids on preparatorium, the sim art, want to become scientists or to study about universe, physics, what do you recommend them?
I recommend if they really want to, they should do that. We actually very often try to use astrophysics and cosmology as a lure to get people interested in science so that later on they become scientists and engineers, because society needs scientists and engineers very much to function in the modern world.
One question that they didn't want to ask, but I want to ask, it was, do you like football, baseball, sports? Scientists that have a normal life.
I played sports when I was in school until I was in high school, and then some of the people I knew got injured, and I thought, it's silly to play sports competitively and get an injury. But even through college, I would play volleyball and basketball and games like that. So I actually like sports a lot, and I try and stay active. Although
Do you watch them? What's your favorite sport?
I watch football, American football, and soccer.
And what's your favorite team?
Well, I used to follow the Brazilian team.
Right.
I can't say that in Mexico. But,
no, in Mexico we like them.
I used to follow the Brazil team, especially the Brazil national team and the Italian national team. But now I spend a lot of time in France, so I have to say go blue. And this year they were in the finals against New Zealand, the All Black, for rugby, so I have to watch that.
Right. Tell me something. When you speak about the beginning of the universe, the formation of the universe, all these theories, you have to become and play and speak about God. What's your relation with God, or what do you think your implication is with all these religions?
I am careful to avoid bringing in religion and God, especially in the present world. The last 10 years, there's been a lot of extremism, both in the Muslim world and in the Christian world, of people being anti-evolution, Big Bang kind of stuff. And so I prefer not to argue. I prefer to show the pictures and to show what we understand and what we know about the early universe, and let people figure it out what their relationship with the universe is themselves.
somebody told me that the two theories, the religious, Judaism, for example, and the Big Bang theory can be complementary. That somebody has to be done to have the Big Bang theory, so it has to be something super. Right. What do you think about that?
So there are many religious scientists in the world. There doesn't have to be a conflict between religion and science. Some individuals try and force a conflict, but in general there doesn't have to be a conflict. One of the things you have to be as a scientist, though, you have to be willing to look at the world and see what the world is telling you about the universe, and you have to, if you have a cherished idea but it doesn't agree with the world, you have to be willing to take a new idea.
Some time ago, some months ago, the Minister of Science in Israel was a very religious man, and was him. It can be proof that science and religion can be together and can be something like a faith and a hope.
It's quite possible for religion and science to coexist. There are other times when people in science or people in religion deliberately make controversy, and we had a big incident where a very wealthy person left money to, have quite a lot of money to inspire positive interaction between science and religion, but it was taken over. His foundation was taken over by people who were wanting to use science to prove religion, and it created a big backlash. And you had, people writing books like The God Myth, and so you can't force things. You must have to, let people try and work things out together and understand that whatever is best way for them.
And for you?
For me?
God and physics?
I think it's possible that they will go together, but you keep an open mind for everything.
And for last, you came to Mexico. What do you think it can be your work in Mexico, or is it going to be something there?
I have been doing stuff in Mexico for quite some time. For the last 5 years, we created here 5 years ago, 2007, so longer ago, 6 years ago, the Institute de Cosmología, which is an all-Mexican organization, covers all of Mexico. It has 50 senior people and maybe 75 more junior people in it. And we run, in collaboration with the Berkeley group and with people in Europe, a school in Mexico every year where we have courses in cosmology for graduate students and postgraduate, to bring people in contact with each other so they write papers together and get to know each other. And so already I've been engaged. Tomorrow I have a meeting with the director of CONACYT. We're going to talk about continuing that school. We're going to talk about continuing the collaborations and more collaborations, and we're going to talk about involving Mexico in some of the new cosmology experiments we're doing to look for dark energy. So.
Thank you very much. Welcome to Mexico. It was a pleasure to hear you in the morning, to hear you in the Congress, a very interesting Congress, the Earth Congress in Innovation in Education, and to hear you here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So it was a